We'll go ahead and start the live stream. Hello, internet world. I got the link on our meeting site, on our meeting page.
Is it? I'm using my usual.
Eventually, what's really cool about the Google Hangouts and using the Google Hangout on air is that it automatically gets saved to your YouTube channel. Because Google took over YouTube. I don't know how long ago. So your Google account has a YouTube channel. I don't know if you knew that. There's a YouTube channel with your Google info. So when you record something on Google Hangouts on air, it gets, not only is it live stream, but it gets recorded to the YouTube channel automatically. Yeah, there's no additional upload or anything. Now, of course, if you want to edit, then you'll have to get a copy.
I've been going after Twitch a little bit with that kind of stuff.
I have no idea, but it makes what we're trying to do this year with the live stream and folks being able to look at past meetings very efficient.
Is it with you?
All right, so be sure to sign in. Sign in sheet.
It's a gas lock next to it.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right, let's
I'm gonna put gas. See if that works. That's not gonna work.
I hate mobile sites.
Yeah, so one of the things we can do
It's different. Should tell me what's there.
with the live
That
stream
one's the hack sort.
is that we can actually share the slide decks in addition to the other stuff.
Move it up.
I don't know. Been doing this. I mean, some of our early stuff so far has been pretty rough. I'm not an auto visual person, so I don't really have the equipment for that kind of stuff, but doing the best I can.
I would love one of those. Something tells me it's way outside my budget.
4 blade spaces, like a sand.
Yeah. We got basically replaced the entire
Yeah,
back.
everything.
Yeah.
So these raffle tickets are for tonight's raffle, which is, if you haven't heard, it's for the server. The Dell T20 server, I think. I posted the basic stats.
Very generous.
Yeah, I know. The stats that are posted are what's on the Dell site, so, the actual, you've already got one.
No, I haven't. I didn't get a ticket.
Right, you signed in. Charles, Christine, you were next door.
Yeah.
Interesting blades, like they hold two electronics as well.
At least this one over here is my whole 4.
And then you guys work
For 5.
not eligible.
It's probably 5. Small.
So they're
Be sure you sign in, please.
I got 2 full size.
Yeah, it's fine.
I think got 4 smaller places for that one. See that? I think supermarkets do the same type.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Combo kind of stuff.
Oh, no. That's really interesting how they do that. Looks like those are memory chips. Yeah, they are. Black lines going this way. Today I'm in the area, so.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I was looking in the bag.
Oh.
I said, okay, sounds good.
Well, that's big.
It looks different than that.
It is. Yeah.
It's like 1.8 or something?
No, those are those are SSD.
I thought those used the same 2.5 inch form factor.
They're smaller.
Yeah.
Or the FX2, the FX2, there's different options. You can have a 1.8 or the 2.5.
Oh, 1.8, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so how was the traffic for most of you on the way down?
Right, so.
Is it all right?
I guess
And maybe it came over and now it's,
I don't wait till the time where we can,
everybody here from Hillsborough?
I was thinking M2s. Well, M2s are
Yeah, well, you need M2s with PCIe,
Okay, cool.
not M2s with SATAs.
Yeah, SATAs.
What? This time.
Say that. Yeah, you just want to support just lots of M2s, just like you do.
Yeah, well, you're lucky if you have one port with one slot now, but they make cards that are basically slot converters. They'll take it into and make it into a short Express. So you can drop it in any motherboard.
Okay.
So you can get the
That's right, yeah.
SSDs off Newegg that are like, 5 terabyte or IBM ones, and you can drop them into any PC. Basically adds NVE support, so you have to have no SSD support. It's independent of motherboard. chips.
I was just
But the
happy.
card's like $20 plus, however much SSDs cost.
I was just happy to get that. Great. What were they gonna? The little ones, the, even the
How's the top one?
128, 120 gig ones, those are actually.
I already have one.
Hello.
You have
Welcome.
to.
Yeah, it's just that little.
There's a sign-in sheet going around, I'm not sure where
It
it
was
is.
a 964.
You sure to sign in?
Somebody.
Hey,
It's only like $250.
find the chair.
960.
What is up with the share somewhere? Different. Sizes somewhere?
Yeah, there's a sign-in
Because
sheet.
originally they were,
I saw it in
they
the
were
back
originally
somewhere.
designed.
Where's the sign-in sheet?
Right here.
They were originally designed to match RAM sizes, 512, 257.
Right.
But they started, basically all of them are essentially waves of the chips now. So the controller controls all, what region the chips are in bit increments, not bytes. So after a certain size, it started deviating, and they were even using like half a chip mode at 256. With the chip sizes they had with the 16 to 32 bit, it was either like 250 or 500 or something like that. So that's where the sizes started.
It gets up.
Plus size, I think, is that you don't get that 810 loss. Like it says 960, that's what Windows will see.
Right. Well, for us, it
Pretty
was,
cool. Yeah.
you know, older, your guys were like,
Yeah.
But, you know, six or five, you know.
It was very early on.
That's what happens when the hard drive manufacturers count binary and Windows
There's no
counts
slot.
decimal and Windows counts binary.
Did you first put it up there? Okay, sorry, got it. What got it? There.
What is some of the stupid? So I start to have on that.
Thank you. What do you use for your network app?
At the time I used to do the network map.
I tried to download that.
And is she coming back around?
Like I could get it to one.
Well, they stopped producing
For us?
Yeah, I had to get it from,
What's the name?
two towers. Yeah, they have a download of it on.
You can make it take.
Maybe it's like a download to one of those old sites. Like the round back.
The drinks are.
On the run, I can get it installed.
We
And I could do the search following some of the bags I found. No.
Well, shortly after they put it out there.
Yeah.
You saw the video.
I don't know if they're.
The video was in Mark's office. Like I said.
Yeah.
That's half.
GIS.
Yeah.
That's the perfect little giveaway for someone.
All right.
And,
Everyone that's here has signed in yet?
I've need a portrait.
This will get you a community credit under Pepper.
Never seen that printer work.
Also, just get you one of these. Everybody got a blue ticket?
I didn't get
I got my grant with 10 minutes started, so.
Come on. That's blue.
Small office.
Yeah.
So that's the one where winning in the raffle, right?
I think it is. No, it's not really. The problem is as is.
What you can't see is that there's no processors and no memory.
No memory. And all
Just a chassis.
And all the caps in the power supply have been removed.
Doesn't have power supplies.
FX2, yeah.
We're just talking about. Yeah, the website also does have some of your power bill.
Well, it depends on how much running. Huh?
I'm sure that's like 1,200.
Yeah, depending on what you're running it as, how much does it actually pull? Just because the power supplies are rated. You can't run it.
Right. Right now, you're running three independent boxes. Dual power supplies on each one.
On two of them. Third one doesn't have.
I had the opportunity to walk away from a job at one point with a full sand and blade system. I just didn't have the 220 hookups for it.
My,
When I worked at a data center, one of the customers went bankrupt, basically gutted their whole thing, like company just dissolved. And the creditors came in and grabbed like half their stuff. And they just like, we don't care about the rest of that. You can do it. Got a nice data center, a couple other things from it. And had the whole sand and blade center. Like, the things I could do with that. One, I don't have a pickup truck that could carry it.
All right.
Not for my car.
Let's give it a couple more minutes for any.
Power.
Excuse me.
I'm pretty sure that even if I did manage to get hooked up and working somewhere,
Hey, let me ask you,
that just the draw was probably more than your average apartment circuit.
you're using ticket, right?
Huh?
You're using a ticket software for Spiceworks?
No.
No?
I needed a ticket system to handle external users. So I went something else.
No, it's external.
Or external users.
It's fine.
Like random people from, at the
They
time,
can't-
years ago when I.
I think so.
They can't
Yeah. Come off.
You can now?
Yeah, because you have the Spiceworks portal. These get erased and stuff. Or Spiceworks, big router, so then my router kind of facing.
Yeah.
Last time I looked at that though, in order
That's
to
how
do
I
that kind of ticketing, you had to have the user already within the account system.
That was never explained.
I needed basically, for us, first time fresh.
You need to click fix.
I want
What's
my
that?
office.
It's what a lot of those.
I never write on
stuff use.
So people come along and they're like,
Right,
I
I
mean,
mean,
it's just to, it's my first one.
So, hey, there's, I need a, this needs to be fixed, you quickly, you take a picture and it's sent it off to the ticket system.
Okay.
It's fairly
We
anonymous.
use, what I've got set up now is OS ticket. Nice generic. Most of my stuff is generic customer support, so I don't really need anything particularly fancy, just receive emails, make a ticket
You
out
guys use
there. I
Spiceworks
can
for
reply,
long?
everything's logged.
You guys use
Like
it
either
for emails
emails
or?
or images and PDFs and stuff.
Anybody here?
With it.
You guys are growing up.
I've used the help desk.
Slowly.
My last
Slowly.
job.
Yeah.
I moved from Spiceworks, they still use it.
But what if you're still by yourself out there?
Oh, yeah.
For actually like server
I would
monitoring, you guys have a YouTube application?
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
It's at the point.
Yeah, well, that's right. I was talking to you guys last.
It's at the point where we could have
That's still open, right?
positions, sort of IT related, but like. I'm just
Yeah, we
thinking
actually
DevOps.
were using continuing for
Like
workstations
dev
on
and
it, so
operations.
structures,
There's not realistically enough work to warrant a dedicated programmer and me,
Yeah.
but at the same time,
You didn't want.
yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
So I saw Warcraft.
I've heard sort of kind of either mixed to good reviews.
It's an
of that.
entertaining movie. I mean, it's an action movie, summer blockbuster. It's like, I just read an article, they just released it in China, and they just released, it is now the largest grossing summer blockbuster movie.
The
Like,
Chinese think they're wow,
based
really
on a
seriously.
video game. It's like
Yeah.
movies that have been converted
They got
to,
their own world, I guess.
Yeah.
hey Shirley, video games have been converted into movies.
I heard that it is the best video game.
Because it only did
ever.
like, it only did like 38 million here. in the
And it's
States.
still the best video game movie ever, I think.
But,
Is it people chasing around pigs? That's all they do? I just wanna make sure.
but
No, it's
since-
chickens.
But since the release in China, it's like over almost 200 million.
I watched it too this week. Yeah.
Surely?
It's not based on the World of Warcraft.
It's based on the lore, but not really your game, isn't it?
No, it's based on the original Warcraft.
Oh,
Warcraft was the very first
Yeah.
got it, okay.
video game.
So that's the only reason they're using it. No, that's the only reason I kind of watched. Once I read that it was based on the original Warcraft. It might be.
I'm going to start tomorrow, Thursday, when you see.
Yeah.
Wednesday, Tuesday, or Thursday, here.
That's coming out already.
That was supposed to come out on Independence Day.
Anyway, it's not bad. I liked it. I mean, it's not the Great Gatsby as far as the story. There's no real character arc as far as, the characters at the beginning of the movie, they're essentially the same characters at the end. There's no real, emotional arc there. But it's a fun movie to
I
watch.
kind of know how it ends.
Especially when half the characters are all CGI.
Are you talking about Warcraft or?
Warcraft, yeah, based on the video game.
Yeah.
I liked it. All right, so it's 10 after. Let's go ahead and officially kick this off. I'm going to temporarily switch back to the camera.
We don't want to see any of those.
All right, so wave to the internet, everyone. All right, so thank you for coming to tonight's meeting. This is our 49th meeting. Hey. 49 meetings. We started this almost 4 years ago, and 49 meetings later, we're here at Xcite. They're sponsoring the meeting tonight, so give them a big hand. Thank you very much. They're providing the food, the refreshments, and also giving us a demo and raffling a Dell server tonight. So good luck on that. Xcite employees are not open. All right, so any questions before we get started with the slides? I mean, not much to the slides.
Just non $670 eBay, $6,000. Yeah. They have a.
All right, so here's the agenda for tonight. We're just going to go over some Spice news. Xbyte's going to do a demo, mostly a demo, and they'll talk about what Xbyte does. We'll have an open discussion now. Last time we were here, which was November 2014, we actually got a tour of the facility. Will we have that opportunity again, you think?
Yeah, we know to do that.
Okay. So we'll, whenever they're ready to give us a show and tell of their facility here, we'll just do that, and we'll come back, reconvene in the room, do an open discussion, do the raffle. I don't have any swag. Katie's the keeper of the swag, and she's not here tonight. She's working. So,
We'll email her, don't worry about it.
and we'll discuss upcoming events.
We'll file a formal complaint.
Yeah.
If you don't want swag, we have a ton of it also back there. You're welcome to
In
it.
boxes that say Dell.
All right, so just another reminder about Spiceworks Austin.
By the hour.
2016, it's 1st to the 3rd of November at Austin Convention Center in Austin. The tickets are currently $2.99 till the 8th of July, and then we'll go to $3.99, maybe $4.99 at that point. Just before it kicks off, it goes as high as like $4.99. So the sooner you get your tickets, if you plan to go, or if you want to talk your boss into going and letting you go, then the sooner you get it, the better. And plus, rooms are filling up. You may have to, you'll have to get further and further away from downtown, which makes the commute. You just have to make different kind of arrangements. Now, if you do plan to stay downtown, be sure to go to their website and look at their discounts and stuff. Even though it may still seem very expensive, the discounts that they're offering through their links on their Spiceworks page, much better than just contacting them outright. Let's see, as far as new software versions, let's see Spiceworks Asset Manager, which is the thing that we all know about. It's just, it barely went up a patch, right, since last month.
It fixed a minor bug.
Yeah, it went up a patch, but I like to kind of show the version now. And now the network monitor. Now there's a Spiceworks, what I call the Asset Manager, can monitor stuff on the network, but it's not as much of a real-time monitor like the network monitor is. So network monitor is a much better tool if you're looking at knowing if something's up or down. Anyway, so that just got a version upgrade from 1.4 to 1.5. Chris,
It was bad.
Was it?
Yeah.
So
It was so bad that they released a patch like 2 hours after they released the 1.5 because it was crashing everybody's network monitor. Actually, it wiped mine completely. And I had a backup, but it wiped it. I was like, oh, this is great. And it wouldn't even load. And we got on the Spiceworks thing. They're like, oh yeah, we just did a patch right out.
all right, so 105,
Very fast, but.
the 1.5,
Something made it through QC.
1.105, that's as of today, like as of this morning, that's the version.
Now they did improve. They got a couple nice things in there. They improved the layout of it a little bit, so it is nicer. But yeah, it was probably there for
You need a new demonstration then?
after a while.
Maybe another meeting down the road.
I don't know. We get used to this thing.
Anyway, so any questions here? That's all I got on the news. All right, so we'll do the xByte show and tell and demo, and maybe take a tour of the facility. Now, who's that guy up in the upper left corner? Is that the?
That's Tom. He's the founder.
The founder?
Yeah, he's founder of the company.
I mean, he still comes in, or is he kind of a hands off?
He's more hands off than anything.
What about that little group photo? I got that. I think it was done in November 2015.
Yeah, we did that.
It was like a blood drive or something.
Wear your red shirt day. I think that was like a month or two ago.
Was it February?
Yeah,
Or was
that was basic. I can't remember what was it.
I know it's wear your red shirt.
Heart disease
Okay,
or
yeah.
something.
Yeah, our marketing team grabs random things that are trending.
We did like ice bucket challenges whenever that went on. Everyone went outside. Did the ice bucket challenge. So random days like that, we like to.
All right. Well, I like to find these kind of images when turn it over to the sponsor. This is what's on the internet.
Yeah.
Right. All right, so let me get out of this slide.
Surprising for the caption.
There we go. So we're back to the camera. So you guys just want to come up and do your thing?
Yeah.
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right, guys. I'm Sean Mello. I'm one of the sales engineers here for XByte. Been working with Ryan for about 6 years now. So been here for a while. I started in the warehouse, actually building servers for all of our clients and things like that. And then kind of moved my way, bobbed and weaved through the warehouse and moved my way up into the engineering department, and now do most of that with one other person and also a lot of the technical support. Any issues that come up post sales, I'll get on the phone with the customer. And the one good thing is, and Ryan can speak to this, that we pride ourselves on. You call us, you're getting a live person on the phone, and you're getting a call back within an hour at least on a support issue, or even right then and there, 9 times out of 10 if we're available. So you're not going through a phone queue or any of that kind of stuff with Dell. It's funny, some of our clients actually prefer us calling us on some of their support issues versus Dell because they don't want to deal with that phone queue and the level 1 engineer who's going to read off of a script and do that kind of thing. So that's basically about me, myself. Ryan, do you want to speak to any of our just general what XByte does?
For those who, how many of you guys know about us already?
I know the
Okay. Yeah. So basically, our big thing is we specialize in Dell server parts, SQL object, the whole range of things. You guys will see here in a bit after Sean's presentation, we have thousands of servers, parts all in our warehouse at any given time. So we can have stuff ready, just custom built for you that same day if you needed parts shipped out that same day. And really for us, it's all about service. So we, as Sean was saying, you call up, you're not having, if you have an issue, that's where we really shine. We have great prices. We buy huge, massive $500,000, $1 million bulk buys from Dell all the time. So we pass on that savings to everybody else. We also buy from data centers that are going out of business. So for older servers, we also have those at of course, a better price point. So we can help you out in the pricing, but it's that customer service. As Sean said, you call up, you get a person. You're not having to prove that you're not an idiot. So Dell, they have to service everybody. So like, okay, common denominator, everybody's an idiot until they prove otherwise. We deal with all IT professionals. So we treat everybody as an IT professional unless proven otherwise. So we figure that people know what they're talking about. If they say the drive failed, we don't have to go around in circles. We just say, what's your order number, or who are you? I'll look it up. Okay, that's the drive, perfect. We'll have one out the door today for you. So it's a lot easier to work with us, and that's where we shine. Also, if you need things, like we have some customers that will load OSs and stuff for them, so it drop ships to somebody, it's already set up. So if you remote client, it's a lot easier to do with that than have it get to there, and maybe have your client do something in the box for you. So it gives a better overall customer experience. That's where we specialize, that customer experience, both pre-sales and post-sales.
Are you guys just servers or also desktops? I'm sorry, I was late if you covered that already.
Just servers. The desktops, there's a lot of people out there. To be honest, from business sense, there's not margin in it. So we're like, you know what? We'll let other people deal with desktops, and we'll focus on the servers.
What about other types of network nodes, switches?
We actually are just starting to get into the switches. So we'll be launching our Cisco pages here in the next couple weeks. So we have that ready. We'll be going through some sources to be doing switches also. We can get you Dell switches already, and we get that as both refurb as well as new. And also the Force 10 stuff. I don't know if anyone uses Force 10, but we do go back to it. We sold actually a few.
Yeah, and speaking of that, just to partly answer your question,
Just let me go ahead.
you wanted to,
Sure that.
Yeah, okay.
Put that on the screen. So, this one, right?
Yep.
All right, so we'll stream that. So even if you don't have anyone watching currently, it'll still be recorded.
Right.
onto the YouTube.
Yeah, so kind of peeling off your question and Ryan's explanation, this is our website here, in case you guys haven't seen it yet. And we really did try to model it kind of off of Dell's website to some degree. You know, we actually have server configurators. So let's say you wanted to come in here and look at a Dell PowerEdge 2U server. You wanted to look at the Dell R720, for example. You'll get a landing page with technical description about it, starting price point, and then if you actually click on this link here, we actually have a live server configurator where you can go down and choose your options as you're going through it, and custom tailor your server to your specific needs. Something unique too that we do, and I like to mention this to a lot of our customers, something that we added recently is you can actually go down here and in the warranty section, we have such a good rapport with Dell now at this point that on some of our newer servers, usually mostly 12th and 13th gen, we actually add the Dell Pro Support warranty onto that. So if that was something that, you know, maybe your IT manager or your business manager might require you to have on equipment, you're getting in a refurb price on the equipment, but you're still getting that comfort level with that Dell Pro Support warranty on it. So some kind of unique that we do that a lot of other.
Do you all offer a warranty yourselves?
We do, yeah. Yeah, we offer a standard 3-year warranty on all of our servers. You know, next business day parts return warranty on that. So part fails, we're going to ship you out a part that you call us that day. We're going to ship that out. We're going to receive that the next day. And then you're going to get a return label on that box to go ahead and ship back that bad part for you.
Do you also offer 4-hour support, or is that only through Dell?
That's through Dell, and that's the on-site. Now, we do actually have some ISP partners that we can offer, where we can hook you up with company ISP is actually the name of it, and they can do on-site service for you, but it's through a third party, so pricing on that's a little bit different. But it is available in most major cities and areas. You know, if you're out stuck in rural areas, you probably might be a little bit tough for them to get out to you, but in a major city, it's going to probably not be a problem.
Yeah, on the current generation, so Dell's 13th generation line, as well as the 1 generation back to 12th gen, you'll see Dell Pro support as an option. Otherwise, we have to go to third party because Dell doesn't support for that.
Yep. And then on top of that, with our server configurator pages, we also obviously have all of your, let me scroll up here a little bit faster.
Yeah, compared to Dell, like if I went to Dell and bought the server from them, price point wise, about the same, better, if let's say I'm buying 13th gen.
It depends how much you put into it. The lower end configuration, the closer to Dell's price you get as you add components. To give you an idea, Dell has a new program out called Dell Ready, and we look at some of their pricing on some of their components. And for a base chassis with nothing in it, they've given amazing discounts. And they'll be a hair higher than us on just the almost empty chassis. But their memory pricing is going to be about $100 per stick more than us. Same thing with drives. So be sure to add that stuff. You see the price is compounding more and more to be in our favor for something like that. So on a typical server, we're around 10 to 15% less than Dell on that configured box.
And in that same line of thought, you server parts. Let's say I have a Dell in my rack and I don't want to go to Dell to buy parts. I go to Xcite and buy the part.
Absolutely. Yep. And we're going to carry in stock parts all the way back to as far as their 9th generation servers.
Right there. I should look and see.
Yeah, so
we're also partnered with VMware with me. If anyone's looking at hyper-converged solutions, we also work very closely with Starwind on their solution. So we have a lot of different options as far as looking at solutions.
Do you all offer warranties on older Dell servers as well? So like if I've got a server in-house that's no longer under warranty through Dell, I can get warranty coverage through you?
That's correct.
Okay.
yep. All right, and that's all I needed to show off there, Joe. So
Cool. I'm just curious, who does your web design? Somebody in-house?
oh yeah, that's all in-house.
Is it like a team of people, just one guy, it's like that's his own job?
It's a team of people.
Well,
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
No one actually does we really updated, I mean,
Yeah, that's
you
true.
kind of looks like it, but you really updated graphics on the site in probably 3-4 years.
Okay.
Which was originally designed. So we're actually going through a redesign that we're switching ERP systems. So in that switch, this one's actually directly tied into our ERP, the system that runs our whole business. So it's used that same database. We're moving away from that type of platform. So we're moving from Magento site we picked one of their templates.
I'm sorry.
Cool.
Now,
Well, the reason why I'm curious is because a site like
Sounds like
this,
he's got a fan.
a site like this is rather dynamic in that I
Yeah.
go and I can build my server.
Yeah.
How, like, so if you get new inventory, how quickly is the turnaround from getting the inventory and getting it up here?
so instant, because it shares the same database.
Okay.
So as soon as we receive it, we'll lose some of that with the new site. It'll be about an hour delay. But all inventory levels, all pricing, all that instantaneous as far as
Cool.
we'll stuff.
Cool. That's nice. I mean, kudos to your web team.
Yeah, and like the server configurators, we may get in a new generation. So we haven't, let's say Dell just had their 13th generation launch, I want to say over a year ago, but once we started to get that inventory in, then the process began. Okay, let's do some research and development on it first. Let's figure out how we're going to build the configurator pages, and then that kind of comes a little bit longer afterwards. But
Trying the combinations work, stuff like that.
exactly, we want to make sure that technically the configurator is spitting out a configuration that works. And that's always a work in progress. We're always constantly learning new stuff, as you'll find out with Vertex and FX. But
So what do you do with your excess inventory?
the excess, a lot of it, older stuff, a lot of it's going to get recycled in the proper manner. So, and we
Not refurbished, but recycled.
exactly, yeah. So, I mean, everything that comes in, for the most part, we have to consider refurb. But as Ryan said, we bid on Dell lots directly from them. So a lot of those servers are coming in. They may have been on Dell's production line and basically got a canceled order. Now Dell has to continue that production line through because you can't really stop that process. They're so big. Half of their departments don't know other departments even exists. But so then we get to bid on the equipment. So technically that equipment had never even really been used.
So are you buying off lease stuff typically?
Not the off lease. It's through the Dell outlet. If you guys are familiar with Dell outlet, which a lot of people are. We buy large lots from that division of the company. So the off lease, you're going to find more of the older equipment. We have other sources for that. So really more of the data center takeouts that we get involved in. For any of the purchase from Dell, it's their outlet division.
Cool. And how long is, go ahead.
If I may, just to dive in a little bit more into your question as far as warranty, through our partners, it doesn't necessarily have to be a Dell server, even though our bread and butter is Dell. It can be an HP, IBM server. We can warranty those also if it's EOL. We can do on-site support and do the next business day, 4 hour, replace parts after technician out there for our partners.
How long has Xcite been doing this? Just curious.
We're 14 years, I think now.
All right, so it's not like you're a new kid on the block.
Yeah, so we actually tell you we're going to do a 3-year warranty. It means something. We've been around for a little bit.
We've only been around 2 years.
Yeah. I love that. We have a competitor who came out and they're like, "Oh, you got a 5-year warranty." I'm like, "We've only been around a year."
Right. All right. So,
Is it strictly just business to business sales?
all right. So we're gonna switch back to the camera.
It's mostly business.
Yeah, that'll
business.
work
I mean,
And you're showing
we have
down.
glass-
Unfortunately, we
Yeah, buy something
don't have a
like that.
camera to.
You can't.
We don't have no
That's
real
not
camera.
I mean, you can buy from us. If you're looking for a cheap home lab, eBay, go there. That's going to be Craigslist, great places for stuff like that. If you find one.
There's 710s and 720s on eBay for like $300.
Yeah, yeah. So it's for a business who wants to mitigate some risk and have someone kind of take on some of that service from them.
Yeah.
That's where we're going to come in. If you're a big company and you want to take on the risk yourself, and if something breaks, you're going out there to eBay, you're finding a new part that way. Then there are plenty of sources for that, and we just know our niche. And we stay in that lane.
These are the guys you want to sell extra service from. Hey, hard drive's dead. Our new one's in the box. Nothing. I used to work at a data center, and for the services that we covered there for the customers, that was a requirement. We would only manage the customer's equipment if they had 4-hour warranties. We would have couriers showing up with part replacements, and it was our duty to either let them in if they had that warranty or let them go.
Yeah, you get what you pay for it.
Exactly.
If you go to eBay.
I mean, if your business is all around making sure that that never stops running, pay a little bit extra to get the warranty and service for it.
Exactly. 100% agree. So one of our new product lines, or actually I should say kind of really two of our new product lines, even though Dell's Vertex has been out for quite a while.
You want to switch it to?
I already switched
Yeah,
cameras. I just
yeah.
minimized that thing. There's no reason for us to see it.
So basically, we wanted to show off the launch of our two new lines that we're going to be heavily pushing over the next few months, next year or so. One being the Vertex, which again, I said, Dell's had this out for quite a while. The FX2 Converged architecture has not really been out quite that much. I think December or January was like when Dell actually officially launched it. How many of you guys are familiar with their Converged architecture, like Blaze, M1000E chassis, any of that? I know you said you did Vertex. Vertex. Yep. So he's been doing Vertex deployments, but so really what Dell is pushing with this is the convergence of all of your stuff. So your networking, your I/O, your storage on the front end or in a node level.
Are they
and your
competing with the
compute nodes.
Nutanix and the Simplivities of the world?
Not these solutions necessarily, no. The Vertex is kind of really tailored for that remote office branch solution. So you got multiple branches, maybe small legal firm, something to that level. And you want
People
to
throw around the term convergence.
Yeah.
And for different things. So like the hyper-converged, which you'll hear about from like Nutanix, is where you're doing the software-defined storage, or whatever you want, whatever flavor of the day. But it's they're running everything inside of it, and that's where you get your Nutanix, your Simplivities, your Scale, your Starwind, your Maxes, all those guys. So they have the software that does that. That actually they'll take the storage of things and they'll basically virtualize that storage to be shared across everybody. So they're creating virtual shared storage. Same thing with vSAN. vSAN is the same sort of thing for VMware and vSAN. Dell uses it for converged, meaning they're just taking compute, storage, and networking and putting it in a box. They're not having anything that necessarily communicates in it. So you could actually throw in the Nutanix, the Simplivities, the Scales. They have their own software, and that works with the hardware only. But you can't deploy it just on its own. You have to actually buy an appliance from them. Someone like Maxta, Starwind. There's some others that have the actual just software itself that you can deploy on top of that. So you could take Starwind, let's say, throw it on top of that, and make little hyper-converged moves from it.
Yeah, so, and with the FX2, you'll kind of really see like there's a lot of comparisons to your traditional rack server architecture. The Vertex is kind of a little bit more of a specialized device just because of the quietness of the unit, of the smallness of the unit and what you can do with it. It's really designed for like that small office branch that needs to have servers on site. And they don't necessarily have a server.
Kind of like an all-in-one box. Does storage, it does the compute nodes, it does all of that in one package. Okay.
Exactly, yeah. So as you'll see here, and I'll begin with Vertex, and they have two different chassis variants of this. Obviously, this would be a rack mount version, so this could actually go into a standard server rack. But then there is a tower version that would be more suited for like the office would have the feet on the bottom here.
That's not build replacement.
What's that?
You can't change it with it. Once you order it, that's the way it is.
Yes, that's exactly correct. That's how Dell says it. Now we'll probably experiment with that. Just because what Dell says all the time isn't actually what it is. So we found a lot of that with their documentation, but that's why we.
You guys just heard Vertex. How are you guys using it? What are your use cases?
We're using it basically kind of just the standard converged thing with using the vSphere environments. Using like for companies just want like an Essentials Plus kind of renode, deployment. This worked really well for us. We deployed on 6 or 7 the last year and a half.
That's cool. Yeah, and one of the biggest features with Vertex, and you can see the slots down here now. I have an example of an M630 Dell blade. This is a 13th gen blade. So this would be what they would consider a half-height blade. The slot is fully open though, so you can't actually throw a full height blade in there, which would actually take up one full sled slot here, which would be a quad socket server, high memory density, and give you a little bit more options on internal hard drive space. But the typical application is the M630. I mean, It's a really great box. It basically compares to a Rackmar 630, which Dell currently sells now on their site. And same memory capacity, about 768 gigs of RAM capacity on that. We're talking about the E5, which one was it? Sandy and Ivy Bridge, so the version 1, version 2 E5 Intels are going into these to give you that capability there. I mean, up to 18 cores, I think, is the max processor on that. So you get a lot of compute in here. And there's also an option on the internal storage as well to go from 2.5 inch hard drive form factor to the 1.8 inch. I know you guys were talking about that example here on the FC server here. So they are doing that implementation of those really small 1.8 inch SSDs, which are pretty cool because you can fit a lot of them in there in that small form factor. So this would be the example of the M630, which would be a half height width slot. We'll go into here, obviously. And now, one of the unique things about the Vertex is the storage on the front end. So this storage is actually shareable storage amongst the nodes without any software. It actually uses a PCIe switch or a PCIe bridge in here to do a lot of that. On the back end of the unit, same concept as well. It has up to 8 PCIe slots for your half height and full height, HBAs, NIC cards, things of that nature. Even GPU support. All of that can be assigned and shared across the nodes that you have in the front. So it's kind of unique in that aspect that I can have, 4 server nodes sharing one giant bucket of storage without doing any software on that. Usually you would have to do like vSAN or StarWind type of hyper-converged application on that to make that happen. Acoustically wise, I mean, pretty much the same level of noise a tower server is going to make, but a little bit quieter. They actually did a lot of improvement on the airflow on these boxes so that you can stick in the corner of an office and have it sit there and you barely even notice it's there. Vice versa, you have a rack server in there, it's going to sound like a jet engine.
Yeah.
So that's one of the cool features. Another cool feature I like to always point out is that the Vertex actually does have an LCD panel on here. If anybody's ever used an actual blade chassis, get some sort of LCD panel, and you can actually configure a lot of the stuff on the servers, whether it's the remote management. You can check on health status, things right from the server panel on the front there. And of course, you have the management built in there with the CMC technology, which is the chassis management controller. And I'm going to do a short demonstration on that just to show it off and kind of show you guys what that looks like and what the Vertex can really do. But that kind of gives you a basic overview of this. Another cool, unique feature on the Vertex is how this front storage is utilized. It uses a shared PERT controller in here. And something that's very unique to it is actually can do redundant PERT controllers. So if your first PERT controller goes down, your second one takes over. So it's an active passive setup. Most rack servers, you get one PERT card. If that thing goes down, your storage goes down. So there are some rack servers that can do split configurations and different things like that, but kind of rare out there. So that's the Vertex, and we'll get to the demonstration with that here in a few minutes.
Now, from Dell's standpoint, the Vertex, they push it for a lot of the remote office branch offices because it is a network in a box. You have the storage in there, so you can kind of see. So you can configure for home office, drop ship it to your bank somewhere, and then they just kind of plug it in, and there you go. There's your network. It all just kind of works like that. But they don't really push it to the SMB world. You were talking about something you're pushing it as an SMB solution. So it can do that because you have the SAN and so there's really no reason why you couldn't do something like switch.
Yeah, that's actually a good point I didn't mention is you do have the actual switching at the chassis level. So you have that option there to put switches in there, 1 gig, 10 gig, and even pass-through. So if you're still doing top of rack switching, you can just throw a pass-through module in there and get your top of rack switching down to your Vertex chassis. So, but it does have layer 2 switching options, whether it be 1 gig or 10 gig rack or chassis level. So again, that idea to converge your storage, your compute, your networking all in one.
I will do some basic layer 3 stuff.
Does it really?
I think so. I don't ever use it for that, but I think it has that.
Yeah, I know their product manager.
VLAN like stuff,
Yeah, exactly.
And just a real quick question.
Yes.
The storage you said can be configured to any of the nodes as you wish. some of the older Dell servers that I've seen that can do that, it was you had to pick drives mapped per individual node. Is that how that works, or can you just do, you know, storage size? That server gets a terabyte, that server gets, you know, that node gets a terabyte, or is it you pick the particular drives that go to a particular node?
You'll see in my demonstration exactly how that looks.
Okay.
But to answer your question quickly, you can do it either way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you can chop up individual RAID levels and assign them to, what Dell does is they virtualize the PCIe infrastructure, so you get a virtual adapter, you can assign that to a specific node, and then have that storage be specific to that node, and so on and so forth. But then again, you could also have it all accessing the same pool of storage at one time too, so. Yeah, that's what makes it kind of unique. So moving along, and this is something last few months Dell's just now starting to push out, is their FX line. Has anybody heard of FX at all, or know anything about it?
Heard of this process.
Heard of it, okay. So similar concept to the Vertex, again, that convergence, your networking, your storage, and your compute nodes all in one box, but there are some differences. Now I have a chassis example here, 2D chassis, and you can notice some differences here in the front. So we've got the two bigger slots down here and the 4 on top. These would be considered half-width slots, and these on the top will be considered quarter-width slots. Now, the Vertex chassis has many different variants of that front style. So we can do 2 half-widths, we can do all quarter-widths across, we can do 2 full-widths across.
It's very similar to what Supermicro's been doing with their high density stuff.
Yeah, I haven't really much messed with them at all, but yeah, and the neat thing is a lot of that is all controlled by a passive mid-plane in the center of the server, and that can be removed and replaced. It's not necessarily field replaceable, I would say, just because it's kind of an involved process to get it out, but it is replaceable, so it is something like if you were to custom configure it here in-house, we could change that chassis up if, let's say, stock levels didn't dictate having one in there that we needed. But that's a good point. Yeah, this server actually is pretty loud whenever you do power it up. But the cool thing is once you get, let's say you didn't have a server populated in the front here, you would actually throw a blank in there, and then the airflow quiets the whole thing down. So I've seen it fully populated and up and running with blanks and everything, and it's about the same noise level as a Mac server, I would say. Just that I
When we do our tour,
yeah.
we actually have 2 of these running in the back, but to make it easier to do these demonstrations today, those are actually just in the back or remotely connected to them, but you'll be able to go back there and kind of hear them running.
Yeah, so, and then one of the cool things about the FX, so we're talking just like in the Vertex, you have the blade options on the front, you got your built-in storage here. Well, FX2 does this a little bit differently. So all of these slots can work with any 2 types. So you have your compute nodes and you have your storage nodes. And then there's a third Avicon node, which is kind of trying to compete with like HP Moonshot with your like low power processors, but we won't really talk about that today. So you have your compute nodes and your storage nodes. This is an example of a compute node. I don't have an example of a storage node, but this is the FC630. So actually fairly similar to your M630 blade that I have over there. Same memory capacity, same processor technology, all that stuff is the same. Remote access, all that stuff is all pretty much similar. But this is a proprietary design just for the FX2, so I can't actually take this and stick it in a Vertex or anything like that. Internal storage on it, as you see here, this is an example of that 1.8-inch SSD technology. So those slots are super tiny, but you can also get the FC630 in a 2x2, 2.5 form factor hard drive setup. So this would be an example of a compute node. Now Dell also has what they call their FD line, FD332. That's a storage node that actually would as well slide into the front. You could take a compute node and connect it to a storage node, and boom, you have your compute and your storage sitting in a 2U form factor. One of the cool examples that I've seen in my research is you throw one compute node in, an FC630, you throw in a chassis that would have like 2 half-width on top and bottom. So you go one FC630, 2 FD storage, or 3 FD storage nodes in the rest of the chassis. And you're basically giving this compute node 48 2.5-inch hard drive to support that compute node. So basically in a 2U rack, you're actually feeding out an R730XD, which is a 24-bay 2U chassis, hard drive chassis. So it's actually kind of a unique setup. Now, then there's a bunch of other different setups. You can have multiple compute nodes. The FDs can have dual ray controllers and things like that, and you can actually assign nodes to FDs and have your storage split up in all multiple different ways. There's like a huge diagram of all the different combinations, so I won't really get into a lot of it, but it is really cool because it gives you a lot of flexibility. I kind of call it a very modular design with this FX lineup. With also the same, going along the same lines as Vertex, in the back end, we have the option for their FN series IO modules, so they're IO aggregators. They're pretty similar to the FX's IO module infrastructure as well, but you can throw in a lot of different combinations there. There's a 4-port 10 gig base T option. There's SMP plus options there, fiber channel, so you can get all of that stuff going on for your networking on your FX. Let me see here, did I miss anything? Something unique about FX2, the management on this is I like to bring this up. So similar technology, in fact, it's the same technology, the CMC technology with Vertex. They implemented it the same way on the FX chassis here. But something unique to it is you can actually daisy chain FX chassis together via their CMCs and have a single pane of glass for your management. So you can actually, or you could also manage each individual compute node like a standard rack server, like your iDRAC technology, if you're familiar with iDRAC, which is Dell's remote access controller technology. But the really cool thing is you can pull up one CMC in a web GUI and have an entire view of all of your FX chassis and just
Like if you have one cabinet or something like that, or you just have one interface to see them all.
exactly.
Question on that, if you're familiar, with the iDRACs, the older servers had an issue where those firmwares can't be updated. So, for example, they don't support the newer SSL certificates, and they require Java to run.
Yes.
So, do these have the same issues where they can't update the certificates to newer, like 4 megabit or 4-bit SSLs or whatever not?
That's a good question. From what in my research, from what I've seen, it's all pretty similar to iDRAC. So you're still kind of dealing with Java, you're still dealing with.
Basically, it means it's Internet Explorer only at this point.
I get it to work with Chrome. In fact, I have the demonstration set up on Chrome. I actually didn't have to do anything to this PC up here to get it to work. But there is some certificate trick that you can do with getting Chrome to work with it better. Typically, Dell is going to tell you use IE and have Java in the latest version and so on and so forth. The other thing you always have to worry about too is having compatibility view mode in your IE settings. That usually kind of clears up some issues. But
and that's the downside. Is obviously you don't want to expose that connection to the internet.
Exactly.
If you accidentally do it, it becomes easy to access. Somebody doesn't. It's not very secure at all.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that. Yeah, it's just one of those things with Dell.
Really, I have 3 servers. I got Supermicro board server, Dell, and then HP, and they all have the same issues.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So it's across the board.
It is really across the board with all the hardware vendors.
Random guess, they probably all use the same core chip made by some company, and that's the only thing it supports.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, so let's do
There's a new market.
Exactly.
It's probably a Qualcomm or somebody makes the IPMI chip in that. Everybody uses the same chip.
We'll start on the
that's
left
what
one
it supports.
first. Or actually, no, I'm sorry, the right one.
Let me go ahead and get that on the stream.
No viewers. We're not special.
It's for the future.
Yeah.
You're in the
I've done all of my company. I've done it forever. I make a point of putting videos on this net and make it to the website.
All right,
6 months
so
later, mysteriously, they don't work anymore.
this is a Vertex I have set up in the back. As Ryan said earlier, we have one set up. We have each chassis set up up and running back there. So I'm going to log into the Vertex first. So again, if you're familiar with iDRAC technology, this single pane of glass web GUI kind of looks a little familiar to you probably.
Got rude?
Calvin Root. Of course, you could always change that. But I'm gonna keep it default.
When you go to ship this to somebody, you can go password.
Exactly.
We try not to surprise the customer with passwords.
It's good plan.
I've encountered enough default passwords to know that.
All right, so this is your overview page here of a Vertex chassis management controller, CMC. As you can see here, it gives you chassis health here. You can actually hover over individual components and get a status real quick. I actually have only one blade in the system in the back there, so I can't really show off the multiple assignment of storage and like how you could share between multiple nodes, but we wanted to keep it a little simple for the demo. Obviously, again, power supplies here, status, your fan status down here, and this gives you a top view of the server. So looking down into it, I can see I can see my shared perks and their statuses there. My CMC status is there. Of course, it's always showing you the firmware revision, things like that. And I could go, I could spend an hour just talking through this, a lot of this, but we'll just go through some of the stuff here and quickly give you a shot or a show of it. So this is like the status of my 1 gig switch that I have installed in the server. You can actually pull up an IO GUI for that and custom configure that switch to your needs, set up VLANs, set up spanning trees, stuff like that.
There's a command line environment too.
What's that?
You can SSH into it and use command line.
You can, yeah, rack ADM, something of that nature.
As it's similar as the Dell switches as far as maybe in iOS.
Yeah, it's basically just like a regular Dell switch.
Yep, yeah, pretty much like their Power Connect, if you're familiar with that product line. Here I can look at my PCIe overview. So I actually have in that Vertex in the back a full height, I believe. Yes, a full height quad port Ethernet adapter. And as you can see here on this page, the status of that right now is turned off. It's unmapped. But if I wanted to, I could come in here, go through setup, and I actually would have to turn the server node off before I could map the card to it. But it's cool because you come in here and you can have all 8 of those slots populated with some sort of HBA or NIC or maybe even a GPU of that, that type, and come in here and map that to a specific server node. So I would say come in here and do slot 1. Now that server has not only its internal connection to that switch, or what I would call fabric A, then it would also have this add-in quad port Ethernet adapter to give it a few more ports for networking.
Can you name those slots, or are they always slot 1 through 4?
They're always slot 1 through 4, yeah. And with the Vertex, you can only do 2 assignments per node in the base level of the CMC. Now, Dell has a license upgrade, kind of like iTrack Express versus Enterprise, which gives you a little bit more features.
Right.
So you pay for the license upgrade for the CMC, and then you can basically unlimitedly map any PCIe card to any node. So they do get you there with the software licensing. And of course, some other stuff we can look at here real quick. Front panel gives you your LCD status, things like that. Fans, you can come in here, check your fan speeds, make sure that they're not clocking way high or going past their threshold. Power supplies, you can set up power supply policy in here, so you can set up your redundancy policy. Right now I just have 3 installed. You can do up to 4. And we'll go down to the storage here. So right now I only have 4 2.5-inch drives installed on that Vertex chassis with the dual RAID cards there. So I would come in here. This gives you an overview of the physical disks. You can come in here to setup. This is where you would actually map the virtual adapter to the node. So again, as I was saying earlier, you have what Dell calls the virtual adapters, which is basically virtualization of that PCIe chip. And then you would come in here, and right now by default, they automatically get mapped 1 through 4. So And then you can actually do, and this is where I was talking about earlier, the shared storage versus doing chopping it up between each node. You either do single assignment or you do multiple assignment. But I don't have multiple nodes in here, so I can't really show that off. You can always come in.
Configure it.
What's that?
We can still configure it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can come in here. Here's the status of my physical disk. I got 600 gig. I believe 10K is in there. You can actually come in here. We can create the virtual disk right from the CMC. So we're not actually accessing a RAID controller BIOS utility or anything like that. You're just doing it right remotely.
On the fly.
On the fly. So you can have, you know, a name for that. You can let it auto
No, I
name
use
it.
that for this. I use it for on the switch.
Oh, yeah.
Has Dell incorporated any of this management with their VMware acquisition yet, or?
I don't know the answer to that.
I don't think they can actually do, they can't technically publicly do anything until like the July 19th EMC shareholder vote. So they're kind of like this funny balancing act. I've been talking to them about what they can and cannot publicly do, although Michael Dell's been at VMware, their offices multiple times, and they've had their work chart out.
So who groaned when they learned about that? I groaned.
I pretty much assumed the free tiers of VMware were going away.
Yeah.
They sold Sonic Wall one day.
Yeah. So Dell software lives on.
I didn't know that.
I did not know that.
But for
Who they sell it to? Who they sell it to?
The private equity firm, so it's basically going to come into that.
Just have a formal roommate.
So they can buy you.
US based
Technical
though.
contacts.
Now US based.
I like their services.
So as you can see here, guys, I've gone ahead and selected my physical disk there. I've selected the RAID level. Obviously, the type is HDD. You can set the read and write policy here. And it's just as simple as create, let that creation process take place.
Would allow you to mix and match SSD with HDDs,
It does.
and it'll automatically throttle it.
Like tiering or?
Yeah, like tier
It doesn't do that, no.
So it doesn't do hybrid or anything, just.
Yeah,
it. They will let you mix and match.
they will let you mix and match SAS, SATA, and SAS SSD, or I'm sorry, SAS, nearline SAS, and SAS SSD. You actually cannot use SATA hard drives on this box. So it's purely a SAS backplane.
That should just be a general rule. No SAT on box.
Bad juju.
Yeah, SATA's in RAID 5, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I use SATA, but I don't use RAID, so.
Do a lot of software, right?
I use software RAID, I use CFS.
Okay. All right, so that operation is successful.
Some flash?
Yeah.
So if I go back here to the overview of storage, I can now see that I have this RAID 10 online. And let's see here. Back here, I believe. Setup.
It's not always the most intuitive.
No, and it's got multiple ways to get to the same section. You know what I mean? You get the tab at the top, you get the trees over there. So now I can come over here and you know, this virtual adapter is already mapped to 1. So as long as my blade serves in that slot 1, the next time I would, even if I had an operating system already installed on the blade, the next time I would get into Windows, that new storage volume would pop right up.
Yeah, what is it?
So it's kind of a nice thing because you can do it on the fly. So that kind of gives you a small overview of Vertex and its capability. And I guess, Jeff, I'll switch over to the other tab. Are you good? Yeah.
So, like if you're in ESX and you just, you add some more space to a LUN or just, do more things with virtual disk, any version of Windows, refresh it, there's space. You might have to allocate Windows. Linux you have to do it for you.
Obviously, not expanded.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. Even this well, they can, but the Linux kernel won't even see or acknowledge the new space until it's been removed. And then at that point, yeah, you can use any utilities you want to expand it. But you can't expand the partition online. Yeah, only you see it. You have to redo it, yeah.
All right, so this is the CMC on the FX2S chassis I have in the back there. I have.
Do you want to share? I feel bad.
No.
Okay.
We have plenty of chairs. I don't buy
Keeps me dynamic.
She's hiding out, son.
Keeps me dynamic. I'm like the
She's
position,
hiding all the chairs out there.
position
She
in
said.
soccer, the guy who kind of like goes side to side. Swingman, whatever.
Actually, these are powered down for some reason.
Oh.
So we'll power this guy up. So this is actually, remote power on, power off, reset, cold boot. All that stuff applies in the CMC there. So I'll actually turn on one of these compute nodes.
Remote 3 finger salute.
And we'll go back over to the overview here. So just similar as the Vertex, you have the overview page. Of course, this is again going to give you a hover overview of components you have installed, and the top-down view here of fans. Fans gives you a quick view of the fan speed there. Firmware levels, things like that. Your event log, CMC log down here. Of course, you see a lot of red X's because we constantly tinkering with things.
So you figure what works and what doesn't work.
Exactly.
Break it, and then you can fix it.
For whatever reason, this doesn't look like it's coming online.
Break it on Friday.
But
Yeah.
again,
It's
so
like
we
holding
have
the
to actually have 2 compute nodes in this chassis in the back. I don't have any storage nodes to show off. We're actually waiting on that inventory to come in. But you get that view of those compute nodes in the front, and then you get the view of the 8 PCIe slots in the back. These are half-height cards. So that's the only option you have there. Something unique about them though is they are hot swappable, so you can actually, they go into a sled. It's a custom proprietary sled that Dell manufactured for it. And it's literally a blue tab. You pull it down, you slide the sled out, pull out the PCIe card, hop in a new one. So if one failed, you can just hot swap it on the fly. Yeah. You're not pulling off a chassis lid and sticking your hands down in there and touching the motherboard, doing all that stuff.
Finding a finger in one of those fans.
Yeah, or that. Yes.
No.
What's on the left there?
Here?
Behind below that.
Oh, over here?
No, right below that, yeah.
Oh, yeah, so that's the IOM module I have in there. So that's an FN2210S. It's a 10 gig module.
Great.
So you actually have the option of, the switching just like in the Vertex there with 10 gig. But on the FX2, you get a lot more flexibility with like SFP plus options, fire channel. And then of course you have the pass-through options as well, 1 or 10 pass-through. So you can go to the direct top and back switch.
How many, on the blades, like 2 or 4, same guys, or 2 or 4 mixed?
I believe it's 4 per. So, and then obviously you can see here, there's the 8 external ports on it. Again, it's not powered on. I'm not sure what the deal is back there.
They're called AT.
Yeah, I had the guy back there powered on for me earlier, but
There's probably somebody sitting back there who heard the thing split up and go, what the hell are you talking about?
well, I know one of my technicians earlier, he's like, you're gonna leave this running all day? And I'm like, well, I am kind of messing with it. He's like, well, it's kind of bugging me, man. It's noisy. you guys build up 1,000 E blade chassis, this big 10 E blade chassis, and it sounds like jet engines, and that's bothering you? Come on.
There's something.
And again, on the FX2, you have your 8 PCIe flexible slots in the back, but it is, again, 2 per node. So if you have compute nodes, it will only be 2 per. But the unique thing about the FX is as you remove compute nodes and add storage nodes, then the compute nodes will gain more of those PCIe slots. They then become available to that compute node. So let's say I had 1 FC630 in the half-width slot and 3 FD storage nodes in there, then the FC630 gets 8 flexible PCIe slots that can be assigned to it. So again,
Did you talk at all about the sled, the FD sled itself?
yeah, that's what I was talking about a minute ago.
about.
Yeah, I can slide it out. It's hot swappable, things like that.
You can do pretty much anything, mix and match, like maybe 4 computes, 4 storage.
Yeah, it's very flexible in that manner. Where you, basically the front of the chassis is pretty modular. I mean, again, as I said earlier, this mid plane can be switched out. I can actually, these dividers actually come out, and then I can add them back in if I wanted to add one back in. So even if you had one already deployed and you decided, hey, I really should have went, 2 half was on the top, you can actually make that change. But again, it's not necessarily field replaceable. I mean, I don't know how many of you would really want to get in there with the tiny star pattern screwdriver and, you know, lose your tiny screws and things like that. It's kind of like working on a laptop almost. But it's pretty flexible with what you can do with it. And again, the CMC is pretty much emulation of the Vertex CMC. They're actually the same firmware revision, so they're not any different. But they are very different from Dell's blade technology, the actual N1000 and just normal blade technology architecture. So
How's the price compare between the FX2 and the
we got pricing on it yet?
I know our cost.
relatively to each other. We're like equivalent spec.
Like two blades versus two FCs.
I've not seen the storage.
I would say definitely on the Vertex, as you add a boatload of hard drives in front of it, I mean, prices are going to start looking a little bit different.
Yeah. You had done the FX one, but the Vertex one, we did one fully populated 4 terabyte drives with two F630 to 20s, about 13. Well, in the high 20s. But the Vertex chassis itself would be on the lower end, minus before you go into those blade servers with high-end processors, Gold 8 loaded with that rank.
And that's something that kind of differentiates the one big thing about Vertex is it's crossed 2 generations of Dell. So you have your 12th generation, so you can throw M620s in here, M520s, M820s. But then on the flip side, you can also throw in the 13th gen blades, which are the M630, M830, which they just announced now, or like within the last week. And then your M630, M830, I think that's it. So there's a big wide range of, you know, the processors that are going into those servers, and, you know, higher end Intel E3s right now on 13th gen. I mean, 18 cores are getting really up there with those processors and the prices and things. So
yeah, the Vertex box drives is
whereas the FX2 architecture is all based on 13th gen, so none of the 12th gen architecture goes in there.
Sean, do you guys price out the FX2? I thought we used to do one way.
Rigo's working on a quote, but I don't know what he got for price. And he had a really basic configuration. I mean, I think it was 2 FC630s, but no storage or anything. No.
Follow afterwards.
Yeah.
And we can get price on.
Can you just touch base real quickly on the, you mentioned N1000, it's obviously same types of things. Did you swap one from the other?
Yes. So you actually can do that. The M630 blade is actually based, it's, you know, the chassis design, the motherboard, all that stuff is all basically the same. But when you actually have this installed into a Vertex, you get 2 proprietary mezzanine cards that go in here. And those mezzanine cards have custom firmware that interact with the Vertex's PCIe chip. So you have to have those in this blade. When you have those in this blade, then this can go right into a Vertex just fine. But if I were to remove that, put a standard, you know, M1000 mezzanine style card in there, then it would become a regular blade. So that's really purely the only difference. So. Cool. Any other questions? I think that's all I have.
Did you already answer this one? I know that one goes there, this one goes there, but that one I know won't go there.
They will not, no.
So they're not.
They're not.
That one can't go there?
Nope, no, the FCs are strictly proprietary to the FX2 chassis. So,
and having to fit it to you, they had to shrink it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Makes it a little shorter.
Actually, yeah, she mentioned that.
Yeah, if you put 2 of those M630s on top of each other for a typical blade or a Vertex, you're gonna be like 2.3U.
Yeah, so this would actually have to be.
Yeah, somehow special engineering shrink them down.
Like
They got the
Special engineering, making a hack.
structure.
They put it in
Like, you see a
the
word like that.
Yeah, they got the Dell,
Over here, you got.
the chassis structure.
Yeah.
That's also a good point. With the M630, you actually do get a lid over the blade.
So
There's no lid here?
But
It's actually sitting on the floor.
Right, but there's no lid on this one?
But the FCs do not get lids on them.
Oh,
So
okay.
they slide right in without a lid.
That answers that question.
as you can see where the lid went on that.
That also.
Right.
Already is the size.
So that
Yeah,
cuts down the size of that.
Just removing the lid, yeah, that gave them a few
Get a few millimeters off each.
millimeters off of the top and bottom, yeah.
Plus makes it easier if you have to service and work on it.
One that's part of take part to changing the RAM.
Tell you what, we're about 7:15, so we definitely have time for a look around, right?
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's invited to come take a closer look at the hardware. Maybe at the end, if you want, obviously there's a lot of folks here, so just kind of, if you want to take a closer look.
And you can play around on the CMC. I have them pulled up here, so if you guys want.
All right,
to
so-
tour around there.
Tour?
Yep, let's do the tour now. Let me put up my little,
Just leave drinks from
we're on tour slide.
We'll be back after this.
So I can just pull my car on the side.
Okay, real close look. Well, you know what? These don't have anything in it.
Okay, so, I mean, it's half of it.
All of a sudden, we get the quote. Can we get a quote for
Just
so this
some
part,
blades.
16 gigs of memory, 2 processors? Yeah. Okay. I need a handful of drives, a few notes.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
All right, everyone signed in? Everyone has a blue ticket? Yeah? All right. Making sure.
They validate tickets.
Making sure.
Sure. You can call it tour, I'll set them out. Or if you're, yeah, if you wanna look at the hardware, I got this part.
Yeah, just,
I know you'll enjoy more, and I work here, so I'll get to see.
all right, thank you.
Oh, look at that, swag's
I
already.
know, we got the swag out.
Oh, wow.
So everybody leaves a winner.
Yeah. Thank you.
See, everybody gets to leave a winner.
Sweet. I need more of this.
Cell phone uses here.
I have a 4-year-old daughter, and she uses these for her parties. It's great. Yeah, for your cell phone, these are awesome.
Yeah, I've had one of those for
Yeah.
years now. I mean, actually, my
Yeah.
years. Everybody back? No, looks like
They're making their way back here.
If anyone's active on the community and knows me from Ryan at Xcite, it actually is me answering. So people, I get asked that from people all the time. It's actually you.
You guys ever make look to Flagiza?
To where?
Flagiza.
FLJ, is it?
No.
No?
Oh, that'd be fun. They're in Boca this year.
Is it? What is it?
It's the Florida something. It's a government, it's all the Florida municipalities, all the IT.
Really?
Meet up and they all go to one place.
Oh.
And all the vendors show up there and.
What is it called?
Flagiza,
L
FLGISA,
G I S.
Florida government, something. I forget what it stands for, but it's. I'm going.
Flagiza? Is that how you spell it?
FLGISA.
Hey, you took a photo here. It actually.
Oh,
nice.
How you spell it?
SA.
FLGISA, thank you, sir.
FLGISA.
ISA.
Yep. And, yeah, go to that one.
Not that one.
Yeah. This is,
Local government information system.
yeah, I'm going out there in July. That's where I'll be in July.
Yeah, I kind of hate you for that.
So, either way. Listen, you guys get paid more, I get that.
All right, so
I don't get paid that much more than you do.
everyone's
Huh?
back.
I don't get
As
paid
far
that
as
much more than you
members,
do.
not with. All right, so this is, that was a great tour, by the way.
Thank you.
Very fascinating. You know, how many of you knew about xByte before coming here today? I knew about them.
I knew about
From-
I tell you what, I mean, when we come in like this in the local area, I mean, I don't know why you would not at least, you know, check them out before making your next Dell server.
You have
At least,
cards?
Yeah.
at least, you know, give them an
They're making a couple
opportunity
tries too.
to see if they can do better than what you're, you know, looking
Except that
at.
my phone is
By another
slightly
vendor
too
or
big
from
to
directly
actually
from
fit.
Dell.
Yeah, it's
ordered an
for
iPhone
business cards,
6
out in our front lobby, there's a business card, I don't know.
They have like 7 years
Docs
ago.
from Andrew Ripley. These are salesmen.
Look at the old.
And grab my card and give them a call. And you help out with them. If you need mine,
Like the screen was today.
like I said, I'm CEO, you're welcome, you're welcome to me, I'll give you my business card as well.
Vanessa's grabbing some cards.
Okay,
Yeah, they need a little bit of that.
Sales
That's
up
pretty cool.
here.
yeah, Lindsay,
I see it.
okay.
All right, so this is the part of our
The IT guy.
meeting
Okay.
where we normally just open it up for.
Yeah, she runs our marketing, so that's why I was thinking.
Let's see, we got about 20 minutes left, give or take. So normally we can go around the room, but let's just start off. First of all, who's new? Who's like first time coming to one of our meetings? Okay, anyone else? Congratulations. All right, just to let you know, my name is Jeff. I'm one of the admins of the group. Katie, my partner in crime for this. She couldn't make it tonight. I don't work for Spiceworks, neither does she. We're just people that work in the area, involved in IT, and we're just part of the community and we like to arrange for these kind of meetings. So I don't work for Spiceworks. I work for a local MSP up in Tampa, helping small and medium-sized businesses with their IT needs. So why don't you introduce yourself and let the group know who you are.
I'm Alex Hosowich. I'm actually just an intern here for the summer. I actually live back in College Station, Texas, and I'm working with Pierce Manufacturing for the summer.
Oh, cool. Cool. So how did you hear about our group?
Actually, I've at my last job that I've been working at while I've been at university, I used Spiceworks for our help desk. I migrated our whole IT system to Spiceworks.
Oh, very good.
For the help desk.
Do you use the user portal at all?
We use the web-based help desk. We haven't, my last network that I worked on wasn't really organized in much way that I could explain. So we weren't able to use all the other tools that Spiceworks had to offer, but the help desk was extremely useful for us because it actually brought some order to what was going on.
Sure. I mean, at least get you, even if you down the road find another product that better suits that, your needs, but starting off with Spiceworks doesn't cost anything, but a little bit of time. They don't, like you said, organize it and get users used to submitting tickets. Sometimes that's the biggest challenge, just getting them who are used to calling you, sending you emails, hallway hijacks, hey, while you're here, my printer's out of toner, or whatever the case may be. Getting them used to submitting a ticket, even if it's just a document that they're out of toner. I mean, then you do the order or whatever. So you said you're from Texas?
Yes, College Station, Texas. Actually, I'm in Austin all the time, so it's kind of funny to see things about Spice World.
Right.
But yes, I'm a technology management major at Texas A&M University.
Wow.
You invited me to interview.
Oh, awesome. And when do you go back?
August 15th, 17th, somewhere in that area. Haven't really decided yet. Whenever the
Are you enjoying the summer weather so far?
Yeah, it's really cool. As you can tell, I've gotten a little too much sun this weekend. I'm still getting used to it, but yeah, it's awesome.
So any challenges recently that you'd like to share with the group?
Concerning IT stuff, I guess transitioning to my basically my assistant at the company I was at before, basically having to kind of offload all of IT to him. Spiceworks actually made it a lot easier because I was able to let him go through the old database and kind of ask questions about issues we've run into in the past and run through and see if he needed any explanations, if he could, to make sure that he could redo whatever we've done.
Cool. Cool. Awesome. Let's see. Hold on. Let's take it off of that slide. And there we go.
Jump away again.
Yeah. Oh no. See if we can't get more of the. So we're just going to go around the room. Just introduce yourself. There you go. That's about everyone, right? Almost. So,
Everybody thought they were.
all right, let's start with you, sir. Your name and who you work for.
My name is Jim Miller. I work for a local nonprofit in Pinellas called Operation FAR. We're a substance abuse treatment agency. So I'm the chief information officer for that. I've been there about 15 years.
Any challenges or successes?
Every day we have challenges. So crypto is my biggest worry and nightmare every day. So that's the biggest thing I worry about. In fact, I want to speak to Charlene. I want to talk to you if you have time afterwards about your experience with Subtility. So if you have time, we're looking at that or mechanics or something. I'm hoping the capital budget gets approved next year for that. But if not, then I'm probably just going to expand our VM environment. So yeah. So we've successfully gotten past 3 infections of crypto, but that's only due to good backups and catching it early and users calling us up and going, something's going on with my machine. I'm getting some weird messages, and so we react pretty quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, crypto locker stuff.
3 times. It sucks. Please.
How about you? All right, Chris, your turn.
Hi, Chris Pagan. Work for the City of Treasure Island. Been there about a year and a couple months now. My biggest challenge right now is the fact that I've successfully talked my boss into using Spiceworks to do everything. So now my challenge is to keep up with him. He's inputting daily knowledge base, the entire inventory. He's decided everything's going to be updated in there. So it's just he's full throttle into it. It's his baby now, and it's now I have to remember to actually
maintain it. Right, not let it go stale.
Yeah.
My name is Caleb. I work for technically a micro business, although it's not officially classification. Online retailer. We sell primarily industrial grade USB serial converters and USB hubs. It's our primary thing, although we touch quite a number of different things. I started 5 years ago as the help desk peon, and now I'm in charge of everything, basically, which really wasn't that much of a change to me. Because I made a little as I graduated up the steps. Biggest challenges recently have just been 2 years ago, we moved into an entirely new facility that almost tripled our size. And the boss man set up an inventory system, basic layout for the the layout of the warehouse, and it wasn't recorded anymore. It was just in his head. So we've had a couple of pieces of software that we use for fulfillment management that had the capability of handling that, and it's been my task the last few months to actually count how many are on the shelf, tell the system where it is, make sure that it reports out, and then, get the little minion that I have and get him a printout and go, here, verify these numbers. And when he inevitably comes back with different counts, I got to figure out why those counts came out different, what website, what marketplace, whatever was not properly tied in or accounted for correctly. It's just, I want to do blood pressure medication, which helps.
Jose, with our Gamble Network.
Gabriel?
Get
well.
Okay. We do this medical with patient interactive systems. Right now, biggest challenge is we just acquired one of our competitors, and which is incorporating all the new people into the company. Their systems was more linear and simple, so their support was simpler. They just had ABC for everything, where we are customizing each client of ours is customized. So we have tons of logs that you have to go through every day. The issue is.
Cool.
My name is Larry Garman. I'm kind of an IT freelancer. I'm a computer consultant and IT consultant. I just started my business a week ago on Wednesday. The company is called ScreenShare IT. I do the majority of my support via screen-to-screen sessions.
What's your solution? Is it log me and rescue?
Okay, my biggest challenge has been, number one, getting my business going. How my customer's going to pay. How am I going to invoice? Well, my biggest challenge has been learning Adobe Muse, designing my own website, learning Adobe Illustrator, a little bit of Adobe Photoshop. You've got a lot of things you have to pull together to get something going.
But what do you use as your remote support utility?
Right now I'm using Zoho Assist.
Okay.
Got a really good price on Zoho, and it feels like it works real well.
They make a good invoicing system.
That's what I'm using too.
I use that as well for the side.
Well, congratulations, and good luck from here on. Keep coming back to us and letting us know how it goes. And one of the really nice things about coming to these kind of meetings is, like I said, if you share a challenge, you may be surprised that someone might have an answer to it. Even if it might be maybe in an indirect way. So,
Justine Anderson, my company is Echelon Computer Technologies. We're a small IT firm. We kind of do what you're doing. So there are no particular challenges or successes. Just get through the summer.
Awesome.
My name is Jeff Taylor. I was an IT manager for a company for 10 years, and I resigned there and went on to bigger and better things. I'm a project estimator for a site contractor, but on the side, I also do audio, video, collaboration installs, Polycom systems, also MondoPad, different systems like that as well. Do pretty much the infrastructure, hardware side. That's why I was asking questions about, being able to purchase, because sometimes you may have a small client that may need a computer, a server of some sort. So that's pretty much, because a lot of the audio systems today are going all Ethernet, all computer-based, iPad-based, wireless, everything. So there's a lot of, and plus also collaboration, how much companies can save in doing video collaboration across the Ethernet cables. So it's pretty much not really any challenges at the present time.
All right.
So we moved on, and like you said, bigger and better things.
Cool.
It's good.
Concur.
Nathan Trace, Radiant Power, I'm IT manager there. In between challenges, I think last meeting I was at, I mentioned that everything got upgraded to Windows 10. Everything's 100% Windows 10 with solid state drives. Looking at utilizing our ERP system better now, converting things to barcoding, and also adding at our workstations of drawings, touchscreen computers where no keyboard and mouse. It's just boot up, fingerprint, sign in between projects.
Neat. Erwin, your turn.
I'm just Arvin, still doing consulting, independent for like a little over a year, and working for my employer again. Not as an employee, but just job by job. And no any special projects, just day-to-day stuff.
Cool. You in the corner?
Mike Miller, I work for Ecom Systems in Sarasota for the last 12 and a half years. One of two IT guys last month, but the other IT guys quit. So you're it.
Oh, no. You're in. Tag.
Congratulations.
Signatures openings over there?
Well, actually, no, it's all spreading out there. There were two of us that did networking, computer maintenance, all that type of stuff. And then we have a bunch of programmers also in IT. So we're kind of spreading out what I can do, and my boss taking over some of it. Quite a challenge, definitely. And so that's the major challenge there. Just one other thing about Xcite. Since I believe probably about 2011 and forward, I purchased quite a few things through Xbyte and have had a great experience. Anything from servers down to hard drives, memory, everything. So had a great experience with them. Really recommend it.
Yeah, that's a good statement because Xbyte's been a good friend to our group Dan Schaefer, he was here earlier today. He was like at our first Spiceworks meeting along with Justine, and they've been a really good friend to the group. So
yeah, first you were in the other place when we first started getting stuff. But yeah, it's been a very good experience.
Did you ever visit the place?
Yeah, I was there. Yeah, usually I come to pick up stuff. Sometimes Brad,
Yeah.
sale from go bring stuff out sometimes.
Big difference between the two models.
Huge difference, yeah.
now, was this a new construct when you moved in, or was it?
No, it
was a previous?
It's coming over here.
Yeah.
I'm scared, actually.
It like opens up.
Good turn.
Oh, all right. I'm Sherrod Urban.
Hey,
I work
Sherrod.
for MCR Health Services. Been there for 9 years. I run the IT tech support portion for EMR. And some challenges I've had. Trying to integrate Phreesia into our existing EMR services. Phreesia is a registration tablet that normally they hand out to patients when they first come in. And they're able to do their registration, pay their balances, co-pays, sign their HIPAA form straight from the tablet, and they can send it back to the sessions. And once you do, it automatically checks against the system.
So is that made for the EMR you have, or is that like a bolt-on that can go with any EMR?
For that, I know it's for next gen and Pino. We have Pino.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure it's able to bolt on to.
I take it, whatever the interface is pretty straightforward. I mean, if I'm a patient who's had a head injury, I'm going to be able to call this out.
There are special cases where the receptionist will, but actually, if you have a head injury, go to the emergency room. That's supposed to go to come to us.
Okay. You guys are out.
How do you spell Phreesia?
PHRESIA.
All right, so you're not like working in a hospital emergency room, okay?
No. Not at all.
Okay, is it like outpatient
So they can't use
facilities,
it. It's just like, we're a chain of clinics, so nonprofit organization. We have different departments like OBGYN, dermatology, acute care.
Yeah, we got
We
a
got
lot
a
of
lot.
disciplines
Oh, I
now.
work with Charlene too.
My wife just got a job there, actually.
Oh, wow.
She's verifying insurances. We're going to be traveling for a couple of weeks, so she doesn't start till the second week in July. She's already working at the parish facility.
Yeah.
Small world,
Enterprise. Yeah.
Small world.
Small world.
Believe it or not, we're a real big employer in Manatee County.
Yeah.
Well, especially if you got something in parish. I live in parish very much.
We,
Northport.
we deliver 100% of the babies in DeSoto County.
Wow.
Every baby in DeSoto County is delivered by one of our doctors. Or everywhere from south to Englewood.
We're just in Englewood in Arcadia, MCR Dell Services. Used to be Manning County Rural Health.
We did. We got some crazy ones.
Hey, your headquarters, I just found out that's in Palmetto?
Yeah, it used to be in Parrish, and then Palmetto.
Yeah.
I didn't know they owned
The
the
corporate office.
Yeah, I never knew that. It's hidden, like, it owns the Bank of America building, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
the Bank of America runs the bank for us now.
Yeah. I just found that out, she had her.
Yeah. No, we used to be in that yellow schoolhouse here. So it's a lie now?
Yeah.
It's a lie?
It's a lie.
Yeah, we were there and then they condemned it.
I saw the logo.
It's weird.
That's what they refurbished.
Then, yeah, when they moved everybody to the little house down the street, and we almost burned that down. Yeah, like, it's come a long way.
Anthony?
Tony, Gordy of Pierce Manufacturing, system analyst, tech support everything from the cell phones to the servers to the clients. Just had two of us and then now it's just for summer. We don't have any really big challenges right now.
So what kind of stuff you guys doing as an intern? Be honest with you.
Getting up to speed on a lot of the enterprise tools we use, the McAfee, good stuff, the SCCM and Scrum.
Do you have to clean out the tokens and the tables there?
No, I'm testing all of our guys, turn them upside down, make sure we don't use
Interns, airport use.
Have to do a full patch panel, you know, all the. That's a lot of fun.
All right, Shirley?
Well, you know where I work and what I do. Biggest challenge this month I have been moving archive mail because I got a new email archiver, so that we're encrypting a lot of our email now. What we were finding was we're using Barracuda Cloud. We have a record of the original email that went out, but on the email that comes back in, all we have is the, hey, you've got an encrypted email. We don't have the actual content, so I have to get a Barracuda archiver. And if anybody thinks moving 7 million pieces of mail is an easy task, I've been at it for a month.
I have 30,000 pieces of mail, and I would agree with you on that.
7 million pieces of mail.
Well,
We're almost.
Oh, yeah.
I got a quick question though. Have you ever updated servers? Do Windows updates on servers?
We do them manually.
Yeah, I do mine manually too, but in May,
Mine
that was
auto.
past month, in May, on my domain controllers, as it turns out, after it being up to wee hours, searching every which way I could, there was a KB in April that broke DNS. Mine didn't break in April, but when I rebooted after the May upgrades, oh, nothing's worse than having that domain controller. You watch DNS start.
Chris, do you want to
You have
share?
to know that KB number.
Yeah,
I do.
because I've been at it for 2 days now.
Oh, are you
it's weird.
serious? Dude, that's so weird.
I've lost connectivity to every single county website. The county's like, I don't know what you do.
No, it's a KB from April. I'll give you my card, email me, I'll
Yeah,
email you the
let's
KB.
do this.
You wouldn't believe.
Because I'm about to rip the county a new one.
Would you pass my card up to email me? I'll send you the KB. So yeah, I was just curious because I thought that would be good news there. In case anybody was.
I know, right?
Because it's a deep, and I'm just like,
See what I mean about the open discussion? Sometimes you have like kind of an incidental, hey, I'm having that same issue.
yeah, DNS just starts and stops. And I searched it every way. DNS starts and stops. DNS won't start.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Finally.
Now, I played with it, and I've actually connected some boxes. I realized it is my DNS, I think it's my DNS, because I connected like Google stuff. And then everything starts working again. And then it starts not working.
It's that KB. Like I said, the May updates, it's an April update, but it was the May update that,
Of course, the reboot can cause it.
when I rebooted it in May, yeah. So it's
Oh,
okay.
you
So
know,
now, but then you gotta watch though, because then you have to let it come back in and hide it, otherwise you will reinstall it.
Because I think it's important.
Okay,
Of course it was. I only.
I mean, Windows 10 is now damaged for upgrades.
No, this is, it was, 2008 or 2012.
2008.
Really? That's how they get rid of the 2008, start breaking them when they.
Yeah, sometimes I have that.
That seems to be
conspiracy
Microsoft's
theory.
approach now. Break all the old stuff.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, I
does it
have
work
a
anymore?
I often have a conspiracy theory about things like that. Like, who benefits the most from
We
viruses?
heard now you can't,
In
you can't close the window,
general,
right?
any virus company, so
If you X
so
out
my
the
conspiracy
Windows 10
theory is
update,
they all have a
considered
big
all-
take
Yeah,
as
yeah,
engineers creating these
You have to
viruses
explicitly click the
putting
note,
them out
and the
on
other
there.
click counts
So
as
these
yes.
funds only the 15-year-olds are making.
It's all shake now.
And also defrag, remember when defrag, you used to run defrag and you would see the little graphic about, it moving. Well, I always thought that was just fake. It was just a program.
You just randomly did it?
Because,
Just something for you to look at.
yeah, because how do you really know for sure that that information is being moved from that to that? I mean, you
Yeah,
don't
they
really
didn't
know.
defrag anything, it was just call research.
Yeah, because you can run a command to make the hard drive spin, right? And then you just need a graphic program to move dots around. I always thought that was fake.
It's like that box, you say hit okay to make it go away, it doesn't go away.
I mean, because I don't know, maybe you're in the early days, maybe in the early 90s when defrag was kind of an important thing.
Free SSDs.
Because who's gonna look at a platter and go, oh yeah, look, it is.
I mean, does anyone actually notice that the performance increase? Defrag and hard drive?
Only if it's really bad.
I've never noticed it.
But yeah, it's all automatic stuff.
But then all right, I think you're last, so take us home.
Yeah.
So my name's James. I work at South Tech. We're based out of Sarasota. And we're in MSP area.
Cool.
We've done xByte before.
Sure. Cool. All right, let's see. I don't think I need to show these next couple slides.
Oh, I want this at half.
Our fans are on now.
All right, give me some goodies. So this is going to be the raffle for the server. Everyone signed in and have one ticket yet?
Does the cup come with the server?
All right. 3.
Yes.
9.
Bingo.
2. 1. Funny story about bingo. So we actually play every Monday, and I do the same sort of thing. We're like, figure out what number people are waiting on. I'm like, okay, now what do you have? Okay. And then if it comes close, I'll be like, 68, sorry.
Or he'll do the thing where I won this past week actually, and he was verifying my card, and it's like, oh wait, no, and then everyone in the whole room said, all right, I got another chance. He was just
Okay. Yes. All right, so we have 3, 9, 2, 1. This will actually eliminate some of you guys. 2. Oh! All right, is anyone waiting on 4? You did not win. Anyone waiting on 5? You did not win either. How about 6 or 7 is not a winner either. But 3, 9, 2, 1, 2, 8 is a winner.
1, 2, 8.
Congratulations. So if I could get I'm guessing the server's not here.
It's
right
behind
you.
You get to take everyone with them, and on the top here's the additional specs for it. Wow.
So if you want, just come with a photo op. Let's see.
I know, right?
I won a laptop
I
my
know
first
it's
time here.
yours.
So
I got it here.
My tablet, my first thing.
All right, just.
I got
It was Adam 540.
I use my Lego. I use my Lego coffee
Oh,
mug
me
every
too.
day.
Yeah, once you shake this hand.
Already got this one.
Oh,
You get all in?
Fortunately, though.
Oh, okay.
Close. There you go. There we go.
All right, cool. That's why I've got the server in the back. Anyway, that's the server at the T20 mini tower. Congratulations. What's your name again, sir? Mike.
And then will you send me that, email me that picture?
Absolutely.
Like, I got some more out.
Mike, where are you on here, Mike? You consist? Alright, I'll just make, just let the folks know in the community. Congratulations, sir.
Huh?
All right, so, let's see.
Small server.
Congratulations, Mike. All right, so here's our upcoming meeting. July, we're still, the location's still to be determined, so we'll get that up, we'll get that posted as soon as we can. August, we'll be at King Engineering in Tampa. King Engineering, will be in one of their conference rooms. They're close to the airport. They're on Memorial Highway at the Memorial Business Complex. So we'll be there. I haven't gotten a sponsor yet, but I'm going to reach out to some people. And our St. Pete, our September meeting is going to be back in Bradenton, but I really don't have any ideas of where to meet. Anybody have any ideas of where we might be able to meet? Conference room type of place?
So you're welcome to keep using our facilities.
Sure, sure.
And we'll keep you away, sir. We don't have to present.
Right, I mean, we can have it as a facility and find another spot, absolutely. Any ideas?
Where's it?
No, Bradenton. Somewhere in the Bradenton area. Conference room.
I mean, I can talk to Vertex, which is I think it's kind of what you do, or you have a company that does off-site support, right?
I work for Computer Electronics, but we don't have any conference room type stuff.
No, but you find a conference room and have them.
Well, I mean, King Engineering is one of our clients, and the IT manager there, Engelberg, he's also a member of the group, so that's why we're having it there. Because I reached out to him and said, yeah, sure. They got a nice conference room and stuff. But anyway, if anyone has any suggestions about where to meet in Bradenton in September, go ahead and get on the. Well, we find that we have better turnouts in Bradenton. When we had, because the first 2 or 3 meetings we started having down here, we had them in Sarasota, not as good a turnout. But I'm not saying it was a bad turnout, just not as good. Because I think Bradenton is close enough to St. Pete and Tampa, where folks in St. Pete and Tampa, there's this like mental block, like, well, there's Bradenton, and like, I don't want to cross whatever boundary. I mean, it's another 10 minutes south, right?
You know where the,
But we find, but if you guys suggest that, I'm not close-minded to that. I just know we have better turnouts in Bradenton.
You go 110. And go west.
Towards
So
19.
so
towards 19.
Yeah.
All right, just shoot word, get on the Spiceworks, our forum. Just
You know where the
shoot me a message. If they say
Yeah,
yes,
one business,
we're gonna have a meeting there.
Yeah.
Yes, you can have a meeting.
Do you know where the development place is?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. There's a guy that does.
Jeff, St. Pete, have you ever looked at Station House?
Station House. What is that, a restaurant?
Well, there's a restaurant downstairs, but it's a shared community, it's a shared space. You can be a member there and work there.
Community center or something?
It's not a community center, it's a business shared space, so folks can rent different space. The Iron Yard is there too. The Station House, St. Pete.
Station House. Clearwater.
No, St. Pete, like downtown St. Pete. Like Central Avenue, 400, somewhere around there.
All right,
Yeah,
Station House. All right, on my list.
The Iron Yard is there all the time. They're a coding class.
Yeah.
All right, well,
So it's similar to that.
Well, that's essentially it for tonight's meeting. I appreciate everybody for coming out. Be a round of applause to the xByte for hosting. Congratulations to Mike for the server. And meet you next time. Again, you're welcome to come up and have a closer look at the hardware. Just be considerate of this. No traffic.
There's for sodas, there's recycling as you walk out. There's a big trash can.
Right. No trampling. Try to be cognizant of the static discharge.
Yeah.
Spit it.
So what are these here? Looks like there's an attachment bar.
Internal storage, is that where the perk card would go?
What's your question, Joe?
These slots right here,
Yeah, these are for the internal purpose.
and then your management card goes there?
CMCs.
Okay.
PCIe and and full length too. That's what I was saying earlier. You can actually. Those are the GPU accelerators.
Those are just regular, these are the ones that have the proprietary slots? You said? This is the one that has the proprietary slots for the cards?
Yeah.
It's this one that does that.
No, I like the management.